I was reading an article the other day about the late great Elvis Presley. He was one of my heroes when I was growing up, and I read that when he died, on the day he died, he was found in his toilet. He was 350 pounds in weight, so grossly overweight, and he was eating 60 Percodan a day, right? Which is, it's a bad drug, you know. And he was taking 60 of these a day. So how did he get to 60 Percodan a day? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. How are you doing? As I was saying, you know, I was just reading up about Elvis, and I was fascinated because I always remember one of the vivid memories I have of childhood was looking at a newspaper my dad brought back, one of the tabloids in England, and it had a picture of Elvis Presley in a coffin, and he looked like he was 20, 25, you know. He looked very young in this picture, you know. And there's been a lot of, over the years, a lot of conspiracy theories about, he didn't actually die, and you know, he's actually alive somewhere, or maybe he's dead now, but you know what I mean. And just I read this thing the other day that he was actually 350 pound overweight at the time of his death, and just those two images don't match up for me, you know. 350 pound guy doesn't look like the image of the guy that I saw in the coffin. And as I read more and more into this article, I read that he was taking 60 of a particular drug called Percodan every day. So my question is, how the hell does a guy get to 60 Percodan every day? And that's what this is all about, this habit thing, you know, alcoholism. The stupid word that people use for it. Where we are now, where I was when I quit drinking, I was able to drink 25 pints a day if I wanted to. I don't think, I didn't drink 25 pints a day, let's just get that clear. I drank 25 pints in a day every so often, and when I did drink 25 pints, I was in a fucking state, you know. I mean, I was hardly able to walk, so I wasn't able to drink 25 pints with no repercussions. But I know some people who can drink 25 pints and can still function. These are big lads, right, who can easily drink 25 pints in whatever way the alcohol is dispersed throughout their bodies. You know, they've got the stomach capacity for it, they've got a way of dispersing this alcohol throughout their bodies so that it doesn't really affect them. You know, and they've obviously got big tolerance levels. And that's the point of this, is the tolerance, right? When I started drinking first, my first, you know, I'd drink a pint, you know, and I'd feel like, Jesus, that was enough. I remember, I've talked about this before, having sort of an argument with a mate of mine who said, yeah, he can drink 10 or 15 pints, I can't remember what it was at the time. And I was only able to drink 3, you know, and he was saying, yeah, you're a pussy, you know. He's like, what the fuck, you know? You're not a man, you're only a pussy. And I felt really bad about myself because I wasn't able to drink what he could drink, you know. He was twice the size of me in width. I was only a skinny little fella. And that sort of spurred me on over the years to try and increase my consumption. And increasing your consumption is very easy to do when you take it bit by bit. You don't notice the consumption that you can increase. So one day you can drink 3, you know, a month or 2 months later you can drink 4, 6 months later you can drink 5, so on and so forth, right? This is the way it works. So when you get somebody like Elvis, anybody who's on prescription drugs or whatever drug they're taking, the nature of your body and its interaction with drugs is that the tolerances go up. You can take more of the drug because your body's defenses are working against it, you know? Not only from the perspective of the toxin, But you've also got this perspective of you need to survive. You need to work to survive. Your body is still working, your mind is still working on prehistoric times, right? So back in the cave where you had to go out and essentially hunt and gather for your food. You had to defend yourself and your family against predators, things that wanted to try and hurt you or eat you. And our modern day bodies, even though we're in the technological age where a lot of things are so easy, you know, we still, from a physiological point of view, from a psychological point of view, live in the caves. So when you take a drug and when you get obliterated by that drug, right? When you get drunk, you're not in a position to defend yourself. So this is not good for your body. So one of the reasons behind tolerance, this is the defense mechanism of tolerance, is to prevent you from getting into this state all the time. I mean, you might be in a position where you're living in an environment, you're eating a food which is poisonous. You need the food for survival, right? You need the food for sustenance, but at the same time you're getting a toxic effect off it, right? So eventually your body will get used to this toxic effect, right? It will grow a tolerance to it because your body figures, well, this is the only food around, so you'll get used to it over and over again, right? Over time. This is where we get the acquired taste from for any foods, for alcohol, you know, for eating fucking rotten eggs, or for eating, you know, things that we don't like to eat when you're a child. You look at it and you go, geez, that's awful. You can get an acquired taste to almost anything, and that's the reason why, is because it's an adaptation, and it's an adaptation for your survival. So when you're looking at this thing with Presley, for instance, right, when somebody can take that many of a certain drug, this is his body going into survival mode. I mean, eventually the whole lot killed him, you know, because your body can only do this, can only tolerate a certain amount, and then there's going to be the biggest repercussion of all, which is like your body just fucking shuts down and it can't deal with it. You know, if you take too much alcohol at once, your body will shut down in reverse survival. So the organs that you need the most to survive will be the last to shut down, right? So one of the first things that shuts down is your gagging reflex. If you've had too much, that's why a lot of people can drink a lot of alcohol and fall asleep on their backs and choke on their own vomit, because they don't have that gagging reflex anymore. That's just closed down. But if you look at alcohol poisoning and look at, there's several web pages on this, and you can look at which parts of your body will shut down in sequence, one after the other, until eventually your brain shuts down, your heart shuts down, everything, your lungs shut down, because it just can't cope anymore. So what I'm saying is that a habit is built up day by day, right? A habit which involves a substance, like a drug, any drug, is built day by day, but there's also this underlying tolerance, the survival instinct, right? So when you can drink 20 pints, or when you can drink 2 bottles of wine, that's your body tolerating the substance, right? It's a natural part of your body's makeup. It's nothing to do with the drug, right? It's nothing to do with the drug. It's not. Everybody's body works in the same fucking way. So that's why I hate people saying you're an alcoholic, because it's like you're trying to say something about somebody else which is basically defines you as well, right? Defines anybody that drinks alcohol, works in the same way. Just because your body hasn't yet tolerated a certain amount of alcohol doesn't mean to say that you won't get there. If you keep drinking, the more you drink, the more your body needs, right? The more tolerance your body gets. So this is basically a lesson for anyone who thinks, well, I'll wait. You know, it's not my time yet. You know, I'll give it another 6 months, or I'll give it another year. Your body is going to be much more tolerant, you know, in 6 months or a year. You know, this doesn't just go away. Your body looks at alcohol as a toxin, right, to get rid of, to deal with. It has to deal with this stuff, and you know, it's got a certain amount of ways of dealing with this. The vomiting has probably long since passed unless you go over that tolerance level, and then once you go over that tolerance level where your body can't deal with the alcohol, where you're overloading your system to the extent that you're at risk of severe harm or death, then your body will revert back to the old vomiting again, you know, or give you the really bad hangovers, or it'll do something to try and stop you from doing what you're doing. But you know, habit is built one sip at a time, over time, and it's deconstructed one sip at a time over time. So you know, there's also the question of control. You know, the more of this drug you take, the less control you have, because of the habit nature of just life in general, right? If you get into the habit of doing something, you get into the ritual of doing something, the more ritualized you make alcohol, the more you need it in your life. This is the habit part of it. And this is the part of it that everyone also has, you know. So, you know, people mark themselves out, as I said earlier on, as being alcoholics and being different, and they can't drink. And it's just that you've gone to maybe your habit levels are different, right? Or maybe your levels of tolerance are different, right? Some people get tolerant quicker, some people slower, some people take on a habit quicker, and other people are a lot slower to take on a habit. But we've all essentially got the same shit going on, right? And control with anything like this, with a drug, is like trying to control a wild animal, right? There is no fucking control. You can lock a tiger into a cage, a wild tiger into a cage, and you know, it's not going to harm you, right? As soon as he gets out of that cage and he gets the chance, he's going to rip your fucking head off. Simple as that, you know? That's his nature. And it's the nature of the alcohol inside the human body, the interaction of the alcohol with the human body, to do the same thing, to act the way it does. You know, it's the nature of your human body to react. You know, this has nothing to do with the alcohol per se, because the alcohol outside is just a substance. It's only when you put it inside your body, and it's the reaction of your body to the alcohol. That's the problem, right? So it's nothing to do with the alcohol, right? In, you know, so far as the alcohol can't cause anything. It's only when the alcohol gets into your body and your body reacts, that's where the problem lies. So the alcohol is only relevant insofar as it is causing the reaction, right? But it is the reaction of your body every time, right? And everybody's body is essentially the same thing, right? So, you know, there is no control. And, you know, saying, well, my habit is built around alcohol. You know, I've got a habit of drinking too much alcohol. How do I solve this? Moderation is not the answer to this, right? If you've got problems with alcohol, you stop drinking the alcohol, period. And then the problems solve themselves, right? You either halt the problem and there is a reparation going on and the problem's gone, or you halt the problem and at least you're not doing any more damage, right? Same thing is if you go into a doctor and you say, well, you know, I'm having chest pains, and he says, right, well, you know, you've got your heart is damaged because of all the food that you're eating, your whole cardiovascular system is damaged. He's not going to tell you to cut down on the cheese pizzas, right? He's going to tell you to stop fucking eating the cheese pizzas. Basically, you know, that's it. Don't eat any more cheese pizzas. You know, this has done you damage, right? All this shit food that you're eating has done you damage. Don't eat any more of that. And he's going to tell you, he's going to maybe send you to a nutritionist who will say to you, well, this is the stuff that you need to eat. So, look, at the end of the day, your habit is built up over time by you putting alcohol into your mouth over time. Sip after sip after sip after sip, right? Day after day after day, right? You built up the habit, and only you can reduce the habit. Only you can get rid of the habit. You know, nobody is going to come in here and save you. Nobody, right? You are the only person who can save yourself. You know, other people can tell you this is the right way to go, that's the right way to go. You know, at the end of the day, the only way you're going to do this is to not put the shit inside your body anymore. Period. Right? Full stop. That's it for today. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Come over to the website, sign up for the Alcohol Mastery newsletter. If you want to support Alcohol Mastery, you can do. You can become a patron of the show over on Patreon, Patreon. You'll find the link at the end and down below in the comment section, in the description section. And until next time, I'm Kevin O'Hara for Alcohol Mastery. Stay safe. Keep the alcohol out your mouth. It's the only way this is going to happen, right? And as I say, nobody else is going to be there to save you except yourself. You have to save yourself, you know. You have to do the work yourself. You have to put yourself through the discomfort. And if you put yourself through the discomfort, you're the one that's going to get the benefits, nobody else. You know, other people are going to get the outside benefits and are going to benefit in the long run, but you are going to get the primary, full-time, lifelong benefits of not putting this shit into your body anymore. So until next time, I'm Kevin O'Hara for Alcohol Mastery. Take care, onwards and upwards. Good luck.